Good afternoon from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 1:44 p.m. on the 14th of August 2025. It's Thursday. I'm a bit out of breath. I've had a busy day. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. You can tell I'm dying when I wake up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, because the Mama T has never been an early morning birdie bird, unless she's coming home from a club at that hour of the morning. She's not a morning person. But I went to bed about 7 last night, so I had 10 hours sleep, so I figured not too shabby. Enough is enough. Time to get up and cook on gas, as I like to put it. So I've had my birdie boys out, and I've just raced them back in. Say hello to the people of Earth, Kermie and Bo. I brought them back in because rain was forecast at 3, but it came in early. It started coming in at 1:15. I've got thunder asthma because it's starting to thunder, and just don't mind me one moment. Anyway, I've been very busy. I've been a very busy Mama T. I've baked a loaf of bread because I forgot to buy bread when I was down the shops the other day, and couldn't be asked going back down the shops, you understand. And I've got a wonderful bread machine. I very rarely use it. So 6 o'clock in the morning, I was having some weird panic attack about not having any bread, and doing my little hobbit stomp about the thought of having to go back down the shops. And I knew my cleaning lady, Rati, was due at 10 this morning, so I thought, well, I've got time, but couldn't be asked. I'm not going to go down the shops. I hate supermarkets. Even pre-COVID days, I hated supermarkets, but I hate them even more now. So, is it worth rushing around for one stinking loaf of bread when I've got a perfectly good bread machine and I can bake my own fresh bread? And I'll know what ingredients went in it too. So there is that. So Rati arrives at 10 and she says, "What's that noise?" Because my bread machine makes a clunkety noise when it's mixing the dough. I said, "Oh, I'm baking bread." I said, "I'm just lazy. I don't want to go to the shop." She said, "You know, I really hate going to the supermarket too now." She said, "I've tried everything I can to avoid it." Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that's developed this aversion to shopping centres and supermarkets. It's a bit of a strange anomaly, but it's what happens when you lock us down, treat us like herd animals. We become defiant and rebel, and we don't want to trot around your soulless supermarket aisles with the canned music and the masks and all the ghastly horror, you know. It's like, ugh, gross. So anyway, I've been a good Mama T. I've baked bread. Then I started baking banana bread, which has to be done it's a machine recipe. Then I panicked because the machine hadn't cooled down from baking the bread and kept giving me an error message. I figured it's because it's still hot, so I let that cool down for a while. Now it's got banana bread cooking in it. Hope it turns out all right. It's a different recipe I haven't tried before, and I'm a bit vexed and a bit worried that it doesn't work out, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It's just the Mama T is a habit of, with her anxiety, overthinking things, you know. It is what it is. Anyway, I got a load of washing on the line, and I got a load of washing in the machine because I stripped my bed linen. I said to Rati, I said, "My bedroom smells like a dead old lady. It smells just like my mother when she got old." I said, "It's revolting. I never thought I would live to see the day that I smell like a festy old lady like my mother." But to be fair, I haven't changing my sheets for a while because I was too ill, just too ill, didn't have the strength in me. So I normally do them on a Friday, but I can't wait one more day. It's just too stinky and festy in there. So I had my all my pillows and my doonas out in the sun because there's nothing better to freshen things up than fresh sunlight. Although actually my doona, I need to either take it to a laundromat with those big machines and wash it, or it's due to be replaced, but they're like fucking $600 for real, down doonas now. It's a lot of money, by the gods. But anyway, in the meantime, I just chucked it out in the sun just to kill any bacteria and get rid of that festy old lady smell. Oh, you can't really smell it on me, but you know when you've been sick and it's just all kind of develops this mouldering aroma. Ugh. Anyway, so I dealt with that. I've been a really good mama tea. I've washed the bed linen. I've had to rush everything back in because this incoming storm that I didn't expect to be coming. I had to check the weather bureau and they were out by 2 hours. I said it's coming at 3 and it started rolling in already. Anyway, so I rushed everything back in. It could have stayed out because it was just a light smattering of rain, but I rushed the birdies back inside because I don't want them getting wet in the rain and catching a chill with a change of temperature. Look at this little munchkin, he's preening. It's so fucking sexy when they're preening. I don't know why. I mean, I don't mean that it turns me on or anything weird like that, but it's just so gorgeous. Look at him and the smile on his little face. He pulls the feathers all the way up, little Bo. He says, "Stop staring at me preening, you pervert." But it's so lovely, little Bo. Look, you're doing a good job, little Bo. You even dropped a little fluffy feather there. Could have had a bath. He won't bath. I don't know why. I gave Kermie a big bowl of bath water. Won't do it. Maybe when it gets hotter in summer, spring, summer, he'll get with the program. But there he goes, pulling over the other feather. Oh, swishy tails. You do such a good job there, Bo. I'm very proud, Mama T. He says, "You weirdo, Mama T. You're weirdo." Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. So the washing's all pulled in, the birds are pulled in. I got a load out on the line, which I don't care if it's in the rain. It won't do anything. It'll dry when it dries, when the rain stops. And what else did I do today? Baked bread, watched Polarity Josh, watched Sean Atwood. I started watching that, but I took a break because I want to read my own story to my own YouTube audience. Oh, yeah, babies. And I've been in a funny mood today, so I've been really cheeky to everyone. It's been delightful. It's been hilarious. It's like, I love it when I'm obnoxious. But anyway, there's a couple of people that were on the receiving end of my wrath a little bit because I had my time wasted a bit with someone. I won't go into details because it's to do with my caseworker and don't want to get them into trouble, but I'm a bit annoyed that they were too busy or too weird, didn't want to meet me in person and pick up the forms in person and asked me to drop them in the letterbox. So I replied, yeah, not a problem. My preference is to meet you face to face, but if you can't be courteous, frankly, I don't give a damn. But I am a bit, she ended up saying about what annoyed me. I am a bit annoyed though, because they should meet you face to face when you're signing over, doing a handover of the paperwork. it makes it difficult when the warmer months come and I have to fight to get my lawns mowed every 2 weeks. Negotiating with someone you don't even know what they look like and who you're dealing with, and then they think I hate them, and I don't hate them. They're doing their best job they possibly can, and I'm doing my job, which is keeping my home and garden pristine, you know. It's not my job, but since I live here, I have to pay for it and I'm responsible for it. I mean, they do subsidise me, don't get me wrong, but I still pay a fair bit of bloody money too. So it gets ugly is what I'm saying when summer comes and the men don't want to do the job because it's a massive big fucking lawn, and then the caseworkers can't be asked because they're busy or fraught or hot and bothered too, and it goes round in a bloodbath of berserker Viking despair, and I have to bing bam boom pull it all into line. And if I'm having to pull everyone into line berserker style, then it affects my mental health and it gets a bit crazy, crazy for loving you, crazy, crazy for wanting my garden pristine and true. Anyway, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm just annoyed because I like to see people mano a mano. I like to discuss business mano a mano. I'm a very direct person. I dislike slippery sidewinders that can't eyeball me and communicate with me, man to woman or woman to woman or woman to shaman or man to shaman or whoever they're dealing with on that day, depending on my mood, you understand. But just have some couth. So I went there, discussed it, it's out there. Fuck it. Better out than in. Right, we're gonna continue reading. Chapter 19. My favourite value that I prize even beyond true love, which you hear me constantly. When will I meet the one, my one true love, as I slowly die of old lady-itis. But if push comes to shove and I have to choose between a bit of gristle between my legs once a week or twice a week, or whenever you can get that little bit of gristle to show up and shape up and stand up. Well, you have to laugh, don't you? If I have to choose between that and freedom, because most of the time the gristles I had were a bit grisly and not overly good for me, and certainly not loyal or faithful or even fucking kind in the end, threatening me with samurai swords via their friends because they lacked that much couth. Jesus, but not Jesus, you understand. So, freedom, my favourite subject, my favourite way of being and existing in the world, a hill that's worth dying for. Paint my face blue and would go William Wallace and Braveheart and will run screaming like Boadicea's little muses into the wind and the storm into the drung. Freedom, my babies. People have died for their freedom. Millions and millions of people. Was it worth dying for? But if the alternative was worse, then yes. You don't want to go all Masada on anyone, but if a push comes to shove, it's not death that I fear, it's the loss of freedom. Living amongst decent human beings with couth and honour and integrity and good manners. If that all dies, bing bam boom baby, It's not looking good, is it, so far? Anyway, Mama T is holding her own while hacking up her lungs, so we carry on. You're suspected for 12 homicides. Correctional officer to Lorne Campbell. That's a lot of homicides. That's 12 human beings they think that he took not only their freedom but their actual life from. Is it true? We're about to find out. Have a feeling Lorne Campbell will tell the truth about that. Stand-up kind of guy for a violent, murderous maniac. Campbell had a parole hearing scheduled for June 1985, but his classification officer told him not to get his hopes up. I don't think you're getting it, he said. I didn't recommend you. There are reasons why. Your record, and you're suspected for the homicides. Campbell was shocked and pressed to find out what he meant by the homicides. He learned that his police file stated he was a suspect, in 12 unsolved murders. It wasn't fair. I was a violent guy. See how he stand up and admits to that? Slap that man on the shoulder and hand him a cigar, because honesty is everything. Right. I was a violent guy, but I didn't commit 12 killings. Years later, I had a cigar yesterday for the first time in ages with my bad lungs, but I was in a kind of a altered kind of mood state, and I thought, today we're going to smoke a cigar. I tell you who was really fucking happy about it. The voodoo god, Papa Legba, was very happy. He was like, you just enjoy that, my lovely. I'm getting it vicariously. It's a bit like that. Anyway, we sat out in the garden, Papa, the birdies and I smoked the cigar a bit further away from them, you understand, because I didn't want them to get vicarious smoke, but we were outside, smoking and enjoying life. The only way to fly, isn't it? Mama T style. Anyway. Years later, he would try to get his prison files through the Freedom of Information Act, only to be told that too much time had passed and they were unavailable. Hope I don't get, electrocuted through my window. That can happen, It's been known to happen. Thor and Odin love me though, don't they? Rolling, rolling, rolling. This is my kind of weather. Storms, full moons, wild tempests. My kind of weather. It has kind of caught me unawares though. But could explain why I was awake so goddamned early and why I was so busy with baking bread and stripping my bed and putting the birdies in and out and running here and there, and because I'm very affected by storms. Very affected by storms. When I was a younger woman, massive storms coming, and throw my kids in the car, we'd go driving, and that was a bit cray-cray, I have to admit. Off we go on a mission. Wouldn't do that now. It was a bit dangerous. I drove one time in the middle of a terrible storm for dinner, because everyone knows Mama T likes to be well fed. Anyway, there was a dinner on at my temple, my Jewish temple in Camp Hill, and can't remember what they were called in those days. They changed their name. so many times. I'm always suspicious of organisations that keep, and people that constantly change their name. It's like fucking sus. But anyway, whatever the name they were labouring under at that time, they'd invited me for this lovely communal dinner, which was being cooked. A beautiful, it was going to be all like Moroccan and Tunisian and Mizrahi, Arabic, Jewish type dishes, which was delicious, I have to say. And I was quite excited about that because although I'm fussy about my eating and usually I won't eat pork, well that wouldn't be a problem at my Jewish organisation, but and I won't eat shellfish and that wouldn't be a problem either. I won't eat gahak de leber and I won't eat fish cakes and I won't eat fishy things, but you know, if it's made with lamb or beef or chicken, I really relish my food, you know. Had camel before at an Arabic function actually for refugees when I used to work as a volunteer for refugees teaching English, which I failed at, by the way. I'm no good at teaching English, Jesus. But anyway, I did have a lovely camel meal at this big festival they had. Anyway, I'm digressing. So I drove through this epic fucking storm with my children in the car. We were all going for this meal at the temple, you know. And we drove over, we were coming from Waterford West where we were living at the time. And it was very dangerous. I said to the kids, we shouldn't be out in this weather, it's very dangerous. They're in the back seat, you know, a bit frightened. And I only had a little car in those days, little Mazda 121 hatchback, like a little roller skate on wheels, tiny it was. And I said, don't worry, if the water's flooded, Mummy, we'll just have to go back. But I drove through flooded water on the overpass, which just came up to just above the tyres, which was a fair bit of flooding, just flash flooding coming over the highway. Even that was a bit dangerous. I just kept going, and when we got through it, I put my foot on the brakes to try and dry the brakes a bit. Anyway, so it was a bit of a scary trip is what I'm saying, and it's, you know, trying to think how long it takes from Waterford West to Camp Hill, about 30-40 minute drive. So it was very scary. And we arrived, the kids and I, we get out of the car, kids, we'll have a nice dinner and we're safe here and everything's fine now. And they were a bit freaked, you know, Mummy and her driving, flood waters, and just high as a kite because I love storms and hair's flying in the breeze. And, oh God, I really was a bit of a wild thing, wasn't I? Harmless though. So anyway, we get there and I march in and Dr. Eva Popper looks at me. She's since passed on, you know. Oh, you're here, Tanya? I said, yeah, I've come from Waterford West. And there was like only about 4 or 5 people. I said, where's everyone? I thought we were having a communal dinner. She says, yeah, we are. Garrick's been cooking it all day and all evening. Garrick, who kind of hated me, by the way, but, you know, he was a wonderful cook, credit where it's due. I said, oh, it smells divine. I said, oh, I'm looking forward to this feed. I said, it was very dangerous driving here with my children. I had to drive through flooded overpass. Oh, really, Tanya? Oh, yeah. Where's everyone else? They're held back, she says, flooding at Stone's Corner and Cooperoo. What? And she says, yeah, the men have called and, you know, they were bringing the food, mind you. Garrick and his lover, you know. Brent, and Brent was a very nice man. Brent was lovely. So, and I got nothing good to say about Garrick except that he was a good cook and made a beautiful teddy bear that I got from him once. Apart from that, he was a verminous, treacherous snake, but never mind. Ancient history now. But anyway, I said, where are these grown men in the storm? I said, get on the phone, Dr. Popper, I said, and tell those motherfuckers the Tanya Aarons drove through a couple of highways, through storm water with her 2 babies in the back of her tiny, tiny little car. The water was up to my hubcaps. I says, mate, you put me and my little girls at risk of drowning in floodwaters while you 2 grown men, you namby-pambies, are sitting around, can't get here from Stones Corner to bloody Camp Hill, which is about 10-minute drive, 5-10 minutes. 10 minutes. Eva does, she gets on the phone. Mrs. Aaron says you're to get here pronto. If she can get through that weather, you can too. Grow some balls. Which is kind of laughing because she's stirring them up. They were close friends. Much closer friends than I was with them. Gets off the phone. She said, they'll be here, Tanya. I said, will they be here with dinner? Yeah. I went, oh, we're good then. She didn't know whether I was serious or not, We're all good then. Anyway, those 2 fucking grown men walk in looking all sheepish. Did you really drive through floodwaters, Tanya? I really did. Crystal pipes up. Mummy really did. I thought she was going to kill us. Shut up, Crystal. Don't tell them that. Anyway, it wasn't that bad. But Crystal, she's an actor and she likes to embellish a little bit. It wasn't that bad. They said, well, we actually did have trouble, Tanya. Like, we're not just being wussies. What do you mean? I said. He said, the whole of Stones Corner is well underwater. We had to take another route. He said, we almost cancelled. I said, you can't cancel, you've got too many people coming. And you know what's surprising? 30 or 40 people still turned up in the middle of that storm with all that flooding. A lot of them weren't affected because they came from, further like Capalaba, Redlands Way, and they just came up Old Cleveland Way and avoided all the floodwaters. It was only Brenton, Garrick and I that, crossed water literally. Just the direction that it was all happening from. So there you go, people of Earth. But I got a good feed that night. And then Eva Popper even had a dig. She goes, Tanya Aarons will go anywhere for a good cooked dinner. I went, yeah, I certainly will. Said the army fights on its belly and I'm a one-woman band and who's going to fight for me if I have an empty stomach? Someone's got to feed it. They all just looked at me and laughed because they know from all the kettles and the afternoon teas we'd have after services that I was always enthusiastically hoeing into the cakes and the food. I'm well known for this. They always know. And Eva every now and then would make some comment about my health and being overweight, and I'd be like, I wouldn't go there if I were your girlfriend. Wouldn't go there. It's the reason why I'm overweight. She'd just nod. She never actually went there, but she was savage to these 2 little boys. 2 little boys that belong to our community. Oh, was she mean to them? They were very overweight, but there was no need for her being cruel to them. But, she'd never had children of her own. And she was can you believe it? She was an obstetrician gynecologist. And so she delivered babies, but did all our communal circumcisions, but really was not nice to children at all. I was not happy about that day, putting this little boy down for being obese. Not kind. Anyway, Eva, she's in heaven. I was pissed off that day and I haven't forgotten it. Even though you're in heaven, I still kind of bear a bit of a grudge about that because that was uncalled for. But she once told a friend of mine, a mutual friend of ours, that she's evil. The friend comes to me and laughs and giggles and says, Eva Popper says she's evil. She's like doing this laugh. I thought it was funny. I went, I won't say her name because she's a close friend of mine, probably watches my videos. But she had no idea. I said, my darling, take particular note of someone when they tell you they're evil. They're not joking. They generally are. What do you mean, Tanya? I said, for evil to function in full transparency and full view of everyone, it's a cosmic law. They have to tell you ahead of time what they're about to do. It's a cosmic law. It's always been that way since time immemorial, since the first fallen angel. They have to warn you ahead of time that they're going to do something to you really fucking evil. See also the COVID pot. We were fair warned, but everyone put their head down, didn't want to believe it. Stupid as a stupid does, but the pre-programming had been there on as far back as 2013. Because I remember looking at it all going, that's interesting. It was in all the TV shows, all the movies, all describing this dystopian world. And then overnight in 2020, early 2020, it came true. Like that. Overnight. And when it happened, I was like, I'm so glad I watched all the horror and sci-fi movies. I was well prepared and well pre-warned. Just hold the line, people of Earth. I'm going to check my banana bread. Be right back. Hello, gorgeous boy. We're both wearing grey today, except you're stuck wearing grey for the rest of your life. And I can change my dress if I wanted to. Yes. It needs another 10 minutes, so I don't know what to do. I think I've restarted it. I had a feeling I'd have trouble. That wasn't quite right. But anyway, I have to keep an eye on the time because I'll have to go and check on it. And just double check. Innovative stainless steel. Oh, my beautiful boys. How pretty boys. I should stop those men because the birdcage, little Beau's birdcage over here, the tray's plastic. It's shitty plastic. It's going to break. I want a tray made in stainless steel. Probably cost me a fucking fortune. But it's a particular size, so I should have stopped those men and said, can you make something like that? And if so, how much? But then my friend Peter Sloan, Lynn's husband, his neighbour makes things in stainless steel. I'd rather give him the money because he's an acquaintance. I'll ask him if he can do it and how much it will cost. And that's what I want. Bing, bam, boom, baby. Mine made. I want to get that tray made in stainless steel. Anyway, where were we? See, I'm all over. It's Storm. This is the Mama T with her complex PTSD. This is storm behaviour. Just flying everywhere. So don't mind me. We're going to calm the farm, continue with the story. Who just flew? Oh, it was you, little boy. Little boy flew over here to the Kermie of his own free will. Hello, little grey-headed, grey-bodied, yellow-headed, peach-faced snooks. Oh, it's all right. Let him fly. I've got him out so he can fly. He hardly ever flies. He usually just sits on top of his cage and sulks. He's getting adventurous. He's probably reacting to the storm that's coming too. Yes, because birds feel the barometric pressure. I'm like this because of, you know, so many near drownings, and I also caught kind of a bacterial meningitis and the hot pools in Rotorua when I was a child. And ooh, naughty. 4 children died that day and I almost died too. So yeah, any storm, it's kind of builds like a pressure inside my brain and makes me a bit crazy. It's only till the storm's over and then I come good. I just got to keep an eye on those two, because little one's stirring up Kermie, which is unusual. It's usually the other way around. Uh-oh. Well, he's back on top of his cage. Kermie doesn't like it, Bo, when you go in his cage. He likes hounding you on yours, but he's not happy about you hounding him on his. Look at that. He's all feisty. Feisty boy. Well, anyway, carry on reading. His prison record was unavailable under FOI because too much time had passed. He was able to get a parole officer to give him a glimpse of his security record, but it showed no names of men he'd supposedly killed besides Matiak. It had no names on there. I was looking for them. It was upsetting when I read that. I said, I don't deserve that. There was a certain whiff of irony here that Campbell didn't find amusing. Try as he might, he couldn't get sent to prison for shooting Matiak to death. Now that he was inside prison anyway, it looked as if he couldn't get out because of other killings for which he had never even been charged and which he swore he hadn't committed. I'd be livid. There's no worse injustice than miscarriage of justice. Right. At his parole hearing, Campbell was asked to talk about the night he took a hammer to Tulip at the Satan's Club Choice Clubhouse on Kintyre Avenue. He wasn't about to fake contrition for what he thought was a righteous beating and what would have been a righteous execution, in his opinion. I said I have lots of remorse in me, but I can't have remorse for somebody burning the clubhouse down. Members of the parole... Let's start that again. Members of the parole board weren't smiling as they looked down at files before them. They told me that I was an enforcer for the Satan's Choice. I said, I know what you have in front of you because I have already been told, and it just isn't true. Then they asked about Port Hope and the night Bill Matiak's life ended. I'm not here for anything like that, Campbell replied. At this point, Campbell got up from his chair and started out the door. Even in prison, Some things were just a waste of time. To Campbell's surprise, they called him back before he made it out of the room. To his further surprise, he got his parole, which tells me they knew they'd lied about trying to pin all these other murders on him. Sons of bitches. Put you under all that stress, and it's all for their twisted, sadistic entertainment. Ask me how I know. Adult guardian, public trustee, and will disputes. Twisted and evil they are. All of them. All of them. Well, now they remedy that breach by sending me cleaning and a lawn mowing man and looking after sacred space for me. So that's something, isn't it? We'll be grateful for the small things. Charmaine picked him up from Collins Bay in her Chrysler K car and drove him to a Peterborough halfway house. "We didn't expect you for a couple of hours," the house's director said. "Go to a restaurant." They found a nice place by the highway, where Campbell put down most of the 2 bottles of wine they ordered. After prison hooch, whatever they ordered tasted full-bodied and satisfying. I feel like a Jack Daniels and Coke myself right now. See? Storm weather, I'm all activated. Back in the day, long time ago, when I had lovers, a lover, because one at a time, baby girls and baby boys, the storm could flush me out and have you standing on your doorstep going, "Well, baby." That was a long time ago, though. A long time ago. I'll settle for a Jack Daniels and Coke and maybe a cigar later. Don't want to smoke cigars too often because I don't want to get addicted, but there is that. Yes, he's very agitated. What's the little one doing? What's my little boy doing? Bit agitated too, if the truth be known. The birdies are twitterpated. All right. Finally back at the halfway house, Campbell took a tipsy nosedive over a hedge before reporting in. It's not a good look, is it? Oh well. Campbell was ready to head off to another halfway house in Gravenhurst, north of Toronto, which would put him close to Charmaine and the old stomping grounds of Larry Valentine. Just as he got his mind around the pleasant possibilities of the move to cottage country, that idea was nixed. The story, as he understood it, is that he wasn't wanted anywhere near the Gravenhurst cottage of Ontario Premier Frank Miller. Campbell was told he would be moved to Peterborough instead. It was irritating, but at least he was out from behind bars. I'll be right back, my beautiful audience, my subscribers. I'm going to check on the banana bread. Right, don't you bite your mother as she's walking past your cage. Don't you bite your mother. going to need at least another 10 or 20 minutes. Damn it. Well, I'll have to, frustrated. I'll have to adjust that recipe because it's not right. By the gods. It's looking promising, but it's still a bit raw in the middle, so by the gods. Anyway. Up in Peterborough, Campbell told his parole officer that he was eager to get down to the ironworkers' local 721 hall on Queen Street West, in Toronto, so he could line up some work. If you're wondering why my lungs are misbehaving, can you see that big black cloud? That big blackness rolling in. Yeah, here we go, babies. It's going to be rock and roll soon. Anyway. His parole officer balked. Lorne, if you could read your record, you wouldn't let you out either. You're suspected for 12 homicides. I'm going down to the hall anyways. At the local 721 hiring hall, he was given a job even farther from Peterborough, 1,900 kilometres to the east, on a 2-month contract with his old chapter president, Peter Rabbit Pillman of the Choice, who ran a construction company repairing smokestacks in Conception Bay, Newfoundland. That's near Alaska somewhere, isn't it? If I'm correct. Anyway, cold, but all of Canada's cold too. Cold, freezing cold, deathly cold, unsurvivable for the mama tea cold. I've ridden out this winter just lying on my electric blanket, cranked up to 3 at times when I was so sick the last couple of weeks. By the gods. Had it on 2 last night. 3 got a bit much when I had the fever. Felt like I was going to set myself on fire and spontaneously combust, so I crept it right back down, then I turned it off for a while, but that was not a pleasant illness I've just had. It was odd because it was all affecting my reflux. I was just burping, feeling like I was going to vomit the whole time, and no appetite, and then the other end started. It was a weird illness. Very weird illness. Spiritual, isn't it? When it's weird like that. Anyway, I'm on the mend. Scratching myself. Nervous at the mere thought of it. But I'm on the mend. And when Mama T bounces right back, I'll be dangerous, my darlings. Nothing like rejoining the slipstream of life after a terrible illness, people of Earth. Once Campbell got to Newfoundland, he gave his parole officer a call. I'm in Newfoundland and I start work tomorrow. You can't do that. They might pull your parole. If they do, they do. His parole officer alluded to how outlaw bikers had been getting particularly bad publicity in eastern Canada ever since the decomposed bodies of 5 North Charter Montreal Hells Angels were pulled from the St. Lawrence River, wrapped in sleeping bags, along with weightlifting plates. They had been invited to a meeting at the Angels Lennoxville Clubhouse on March 24th, 1985. pregnant with Crystal at that point in time. She was born in November. Where they were beaten to death with hammers. Nasty. Their crime was being considered too wild and uncontrollable, even by Hell's Angels standards. See, it's how that lot felt about my friend Pedro. They hated him because he was too wild and uncontrollable. They just didn't know how to talk to him properly like the Mama T did. Respect and courtesy and having the ignoble advantage of having a fucking Slavic face probably helped a bit too. That and he liked me because wild and crazy and often uncontrollable men kind of recognised my spirit too, and it's a kind of a gnosis. Might not always love me, but there's a recognition, people of Earth. A recognition and a courtesy and a respect. Their corpses were proof that if you're surrounded by tough people with loaded guns, you're either very safe or very threatened. Campbell was heading out to the job one day when he passed some idle iron workers. "We're not going to work today." "Why?" he asked. No answer was given. Campbell later got an iron worker drunk in a pub and learned that the problem behind the work stoppage was tensions between iron workers and boilermakers' unions. One of the guys, a boilermaker, said, "If you go on that stack, I'll shoot you off the stack," to another worker, an iron worker. I got him to point the guy out to me. 3 hard punches to the head later, the offending boilermaker lay unconscious. A much larger man, accompanied by 3 semi-huge slices of humanity. He probably should have worded that huge slices of semi-humanity, but same, different strokes, different day, isn't it? What can I say? Anyway, I like that. 3 semi-huge slices of humanity stepped in front of Campbell. "Who punched him out?" the huge man asked. "I did." He immediately stuck out his hand to Campbell. "Good for you. It's time somebody punched that guy out." That settled. He bought Campbell a beer. Well, there you go. You can spank his ass and call him Campbell. Don't think he'd like being called Judy, understand? I better rein it in. He might be still alive. He might start gunning for the Mama D with or her gravel-rashed gallows humour. Right, what are you little munchkins, my little snooty boys, my sweet my babies, my darlings, my feathery little earth angels, my sweethearts, my wild things that make my heart sing, my savage little beak-faced, taloned, bird-brained, psychotic, storm weather-infested cockatiel and Indian ringneck. Are you being good boys? Let me turn and look at them. Oh, did you see that? He landed on my arm. Are you being a good boy, my Kermie? Come and land on my arm again. Armageddon. Land on my arm. I'm wanting him to tame him to land on me, but he did. He landed on my left arm, and then maybe it was by accident. Hey, Kermie, come here, come here. Let's go for a walk around the garden, like Charlie did. She used to sit on my fingers, but you can sit on my arm if you prefer. I don't mind. We'll be Armageddoning it around the backyard in no time. Yes. That's the plan anyway. I'm not very good at taming them down. I'm just letting them come to me naturally of their own free will. But look, he's feisty. I saw that, Kermie. I'm watching you. Yes, you. I saw what you just did just then. Mean little birdie. Mean little birdie. Oh, there's an ibis going past my house. Don't usually have ibises here. Do you want to see an ibis, people of Earth? Those of you who don't come from Brisbane, can you see it? It's walking down the road. It's behind the guava tree now. Anyway, we refer to those birds as bin chickens because they like going in our bins. Let's just hold the camera a bit longer. You might get to see him. There he goes. Ibis. Ibis. It's a pretty one too. Wow. Don't like to encourage them actually because they can be a pain in our asses if they go through the bins, but it's only one. It's only one. And you know, they remind me of ancient Egypt. Very symbolic, isn't it? A storm's coming and there's an ibis walking past and my birdie boys are going quietly mad too. Oh. Right. I hope you're being a good boy, little Kermie. Yes. You're so good. Yes, you are. You feathery little terrorist. All right, where were we? Oh, yes. Bought Campbell a beer for punching the arsehole out. Right. Once back in Ontario and free of the halfway house with his sentence expired, Campbell fell asleep. Sorry, that's not what it reads. Yeah, before we do that, I've got to check on the bread again. Sorry. Multitasking. Walk and talk, walk and talk. Walk and talk, walk and talk. I'm scared of you actually a bit, Bo. He must never know that I'm scared of him. He must never know. Yeah, it looks like it's ready now. I've just turned the machine off and it can sit still in the heat, you know, but as it cools and it can keep cooking for a bit longer that way. It's pretty much there now. Right, so how long did that take? An extra 43 minutes to 59 is 17, 27. So it was roughly about an extra half hour. I must make a note of that because I've got to put that on the recipe. That it's a shitty feckin' thing. And where's my pens? Where's my pen? By the gods. Sorry, multitask. Bake banana bread, extra 30 minutes on, what did I have it on? Bake only. It's not right. I'll have to figure it out. I'll have to tweak that a bit. Right, I'm not good at we can cook in, and it's got to be right. If I'm going to put in the time and all the ingredients, all that money, stupidity, got to get a good feed out of it at the end, by the gods. Right, where were we? Once back in Ontario and free of the halfway house with the sentence expired. I think 30 minutes is right. Campbell fell fast and hard into the life of a cocaine dealer. Like, he's kind of incorrigible, isn't he? Just barely out of bloody prison. Some people are just twat burglars. They're never going to change. Never. There was plenty of money to be made selling coke, and members of the club seemed to be cashing in. What's going on here? There's a lot of agitation up there. A lot of agitation. Yes, Kermie. I'm watching you, watching me, watching Bo, watching you. And sing me a song, Kermie. Right, here we go. Let's get with the program. Since he'd been sent away to prison, the Choice had set up an Oshawa chapter again and bought a clubhouse of its own, a squat and red and white bungalow at 487 Ortono Avenue near Wilson Road South and Highway 401. It had SCMC boldly spelled out in black shingles on its red roof, lest anyone accuse them of hiding out. Campbell was its new president. What I tell you about evil having to show you its intentions and be out there for all the world to see, no disguising it, no hiding it, right up your right nostril. And if you choose to ignore it because you're just scared or in denial or don't want to rock the boat, then you choose to ignore it at your own risk, people of Earth. And but you see, even bikers know that. It's a cosmic law. Be who you are, to thine own self be true. Shrink back from no one. Be honest about what you're about. Give out zero fucks. Hold your line. Stay in your own lane. Keep your head down when you need to keep your head down. When all else fails, come out with all guns blazing. 142nd fastest gun in the West, you understand? But freedom, it's a hill that's worth dying on. I can put that on my epitaph along with, I told you I was sick. Anyway, be a lot of quips on my epitaph. There won't be room for my name and my birth and my death date. It'll just be all smart-ass commentary. Go and practice it on one leg like Shammai, or was it Hillel? Shammai. Everything you need to know in the Torah. Stand on one leg. All the rest is commentary. I love it. It's true, isn't it? Everything's just embellishment upon embellishment. Fences around fences. after a while it all kind of got lost in translation or in transition. Puff, puff, blow. Religions. They've got a lot to answer for. Always corrupted by something or someone. Look at our current zeitgeist. Evil it is. I see Malka Leifa as a very ultra orthodox religious woman, but a career pedophile. She's been accused of SAing some young fellow prisoner now. Can't stop herself from being a pedophile. Can't stop. It's only one way to stop that woman. She's in prison, so we know how that's going to end up, don't we? Ultimately. And by the gods, she deserves it. She's harmed that many young girls now. It's not, well, it was never funny to begin with, but it's getting beyond. Now we're at the point where it's garrot time, in my opinion. Garrot time. But, you know, some idiot will protect it because it's the purest of evil. The purest. Hiding under that really ultra-religious cult as a school principal. No one would have ever suspected that in a million years. Highly respected job as a school principal, and she was attacking all her students. Her most vulnerable students, of course, because they handpick them, you know. Who's likely to parents to turn a blind eye, or who's got troubles at home, and who's just ripe for the fucking picking. I hate that evil demonic thing. I fought hard on social media for years to get it extradited back to Australia. And now we find out she's attacking her fellow inmates. Can you believe it? It's astonishing. But, you know, my heart goes out to all her victims. You didn't deserve that, little girls. You really didn't. You didn't deserve that monster. No one deserved that monster. No one. Right. As Campbell moved back into the choice fold, he was taken aback by how many of his old cronies and acquaintances seemed reluctant to approach him. Ultimately, he concluded that he shouldn't take offence, as this was a breach of his fearsome reputation, not rejection. I had punched out a lot of members. At the same time, others who didn't know him at all pretended they were lifelong friends. Who's ringing their bell? Are you ringing your bell, little? Is it you? Was it you, little Kermit? It was you. Did you ring your bell? Yeah, show me how you ring your bell. You haven't rung your bell for weeks. Is it because there's a storm coming in? Yes. Ring it. Oh. You climbed under the bell. Is it because there's a storm coming, little handsome boy, and you just all Twitter-pated? Oh, my babies. Come on then. Come on. Fly to the Mother Tea. Come and sit on my shoulder. You'll be a YouTube sensation like Charlie was. I miss my girl. I miss her. When Campbell walked into a bar in Scarborough with Larry Valentine, he was stunned by how familiar some of the patrons acted towards him. I was not used to guys sitting down and babbling on like they knew me for 100 years. The rain's coming, my boy. It's very, very close. But I thought that before and it passed over, so here is that. Campbell met with suppliers to pick up kilos of cocaine at a time. That's a lot of cocaine. They'd meet him in parking lots for quick transactions when he'd ride in on his Harley, not wearing club colours so that he wouldn't attract attention. He'd throw it to me. I'd put it in my pack. I'd say, "See you later." It would take 10 seconds. Once he had 7 ounces of cocaine in his vest when he was pulled over in Aurelia at a speed trap. 3 or 4 cruisers were there, and he had to reach around the baggies of cocaine to extract his ID papers for a female cop. I said, "I haven't been pulled over for a speeding ticket for 10 years. He rode away with the ticket and the cocaine. The money was nice, but he couldn't help but worry when he stopped to think about it. That drug money was changing life in biker clubs. Increasing numbers of members were missing club activities such as meetings and runs because they were in jail or too screwed up on drugs to take part. Maybe Gendon had been right back in the 60s when he threatened to take a baseball bat to anyone in the choice who used drugs. He was right, indeed. Says Campbell, when people are on drugs, there's no participation. Campbell hadn't been on a Harley for 3 years, and now he made up for lost time by riding with a vengeance. Harley Davidson had come out with its Evolution motor on its touring bikes, which used rubber to absorb road vibrations and smooth out the ride. It was a pleasure after riding bikes that break down, rattle and leak oil for so many years. He and his associates bought 7 new Harleys worth between $15,000, that would be Canadian dollars, and $12,000 each within a 2-week span from the same Toronto area dealership, paying with cash. He expected the dealer to at least smile when they peeled back the bills to pay for the 7th bike, but he didn't. I said, "Have a sense of humour, buddy." The implication was that we were drug dealers. He seemed to get it as he smiled back a little bit. Joking aside, he had a queasy feeling about the effects of all those drugs on people around him. I've seen guys and women do things they would never do for cocaine. A lot of them don't come out of it. Some do. I like to see a happy ending. Although he was now a full-board drug trafficker, Campbell still prided himself on pulling a few girls off drugs. One was at a party and ready to stick a needle in her arm. She was going to do a hit and she could not find the vein. I threw her down on the floor, grabbed the fix and hid it. Throughout the 1980s, the choice got along well with the Lobos from Windsor and the vagabonds from Toronto. During Campbell's prison stay, the vagabonds had sent him Christmas cards, which counted for something in his books. For all their outward gruffness, outlaw bikers are nothing if not sentimental. Anniversaries of special days in club history, such as the formation of chapters, are dutifully marked with parties that all members are required to attend. Alliances between friendly clubs were also something close to sacred. That was part of what rankled Campbell about the 1977 split, when half of the choice patched over to the Outlaws. The choice and the Outlaws had an alliance before that split, and they went so far as to create a special brotherhood patch with a crossed piston and sceptre. It's gone very quiet now, hasn't he? Okay. So when some members of the choice connived with the Outlaws behind the backs of members like Campbell, it was worse than disrespectful. It was treasonous. The vagabonds only had one Canadian chapter, but they were also in a brotherhood with the Scorpions Motorcycle Club in the States, which made them more than just another local Toronto club. In effect, if you were a vagabond, you were a Scorpion, and vice versa. As a novel twist, the Vags, I read that as Vadges at first, but unfortunate. I know, one of these days, pow on the antennae, as my father used to say. But I wouldn't recommend it. Might power you right back. Depending on if I see you first, you understand. Anyway, it's all talk. It's all fantasy in my mind. But I've been known to say that. Gonna get you, Tanya. Not if I see you first, motherfucker. They're not used to a woman answering them back and calling them a motherfucker, so they kind of lean back and, okay, Tanya, don't activate the crazy. Just saying. As a novel twist, the Vags wore patches with 100% on their vests, rather than the 1% patches other outlaw clubs wore. It was a declaration that they considered themselves 100% biker. I've never heard of that, that's why I had a little chortle there. Campbell was riding to Windsor for a party with about 100 other bikers in the mid-1980s, where they planned to meet up with the Vagabonds and Lobos, among others. Bikers in packs ride at clips of 100 kilometres an hour with just a bike length between them. Many of the bikes didn't have front brakes. There was no room for mechanical errors, stupidity, or bad luck, or there'd be broken bones and grated skin, or worse. One cop was trying to pull us all over. He was in a cruiser. Oh, I could do with a cruiser right now too. Why am I wanting alcohol this afternoon? I haven't had a drink for, it's nearly 3 weeks now, isn't it? Since I got sick. It's odd. Oh well, see, stormy weather. Stormy weather. I'll have a banana bread shortly though. Looking forward to that. Right. Don't know what I'm going to have for dinner tonight though. I ate my dinner for lunch. Guess I could have soup for dinner tonight. Yes, with the nice freshly baked bread I baked today. Somebody should marry this fabulous woman. Almost become domesticated. Shh! Don't tell them, they'll all want some. By the gods. Seriously, don't tell anyone, I just said that. I'm just rewinding. Marriage and domestication. Whew. Quickly, boys. Rewind. You did not hear me say that out loud. I wasn't here. It wasn't me. It's my angels winding us all up, as they do from time to time. They'd like to see me married and settled and safe and secure with a wonderful man who values, cherishes and adores me. They would. My angels would. But they don't understand human beings and how fucking sordid and rotten they go and how quickly it can happen. One just yelled out, "We understand very well, Tanya Aarons, more than you think." All right, but don't tease me about that. I'm not the marriage kind. I like my freedom too much. Talk to who I want to talk to. Dance with who I want to dance with. Have friendships with all sorts of wild and interesting and unusual and quirky people. There's never any sex involved in it, so it's nothing to be jealous of, but yet that last wannabe lover got jealous anyway. It's odd, isn't it? And he shoves pterodactyl in my face. Like, what was that all about anyway? Really? Guess I'll never know, will I? Someone might tell me one day. Someone might just take the time to explain it to me. It'll blow my head back. Sure, I'll be quite astonished. Anyway. Lovers, love, people of Earth. It's the only thing you take with you when you die. Real, authentic love. Everything else just crumbles into dust, or other people go through your house and take all your possessions and your favourite things, and your wives remarry or your husbands remarry. Ultimately, nothing belongs to you, ever. Looking at Kookaburra out there. I love that bird. It's a wonderful bird. They're all fractious, the wild birds, because the storm is coming. It's late, but it's coming. Sometimes it passes us by here at Holland Park, though. I've seen the black sky, but it seems to be passing us by, which is a shame, because my birdie boys could have been out all afternoon. But annoyed about that. But it did look very threatening, didn't it, when I showed it to you? So it might swing back or it might be gone. It's hard to tell. Well, you know, like Crowded House, always take the weather with you. Right, where were we? One cop was trying to pull us over. He was in a cruiser going up and down, trying to pull us over. It's very dangerous doing that. Experienced cops know how to do it. They go up to the front of the pack and signal for everyone to turn off somewhere, like a trucker's way station. This guy obviously wasn't that experienced, and it was really dangerous what he was doing. Once we were pulled over, this guy's fucking trying to get IDs. He's screaming and yelling. He shouts at choice member Dougie Hoyle. "Who the fuck's in charge here?" Dougie said. "You," and tapped the cop's hand. One cop went into a truck and pulled out a shotgun. T.E. Hoffman was back with us then. He was let out of prison after 4.5 years because a police wiretap showed he was in Kitchener the night of the Port Hope shooting. Fancy having to sit there for 4.5 years for a crime you didn't do. Took them that long to work it out. Assholes. Honestly. Sometimes they're worse than the criminals. You know, the police force and the judiciary. Worse trash than the criminals. Ask me how I know. Like the trash that let me and my little girls be threatened for 18 months by those Moroccan scum, trash, dogs who to this day deserve to die for what they put us through. And I mean it, and I'm saying it out loud. Never forgive and never forget. Contributed to my daughter getting ADHD, no doubt. Although, to be fair, I blame the COVID vaccine for that. Still and all, it was a lot for little girls to have to live through. A lot. One day, one dark night. One day. T shouted at the cop. I wonder where Glenn is these days, that wonderful man that came to my assistance. I wonder if he's still alive. Truly good man. A truly good man. Suffering like an animal because of my suffering. There's no justice in that, is there? None. He gets kicked out of the tribe of Judah for being a real man defending women and children. By the gods, shameful that was. But, you know, broke the rules and went back to drinking. They probably didn't realise what was behind all that and why, and they could have cut him some slack. They really could have. It was extenuating circumstances. T shouted at the cop, "Put that fucking shotgun back in the truck or I'll shove it up your ass." All of us were shocked. He never shouted at anyone before that. All of a sudden, here come the vagabonds. The cop who tried to pull us over at first ran in front of them. Snorko, vagabond president Ralph Snorko Melanson, just kept ploughing through and hit the cop. They, police, jumped him and started giving it to him. They bet the shit out of him, put him in the cruiser and arrested him. Then finally, a sergeant showed up and ordered the cop who had been in charge, "Get these fucking guys off the road." That was one of the last times Campbell saw Snorko, who could be a one-man spectacle even on a quiet day. Snorko got his nickname for his nose and his propensity for hoovering up long lines of cocaine through it. Oh, you have to laugh. He was also good at buying large amounts of cocaine on credit. He wasn't so good at selling it off so that he could repay his debt. That perhaps explained why someone shot Snorko to death in September 1987 in a Toronto hotel room. By the time of Snorko's murder, "Where you going, little boy? Where's my little Bobo going? Bobby! Booty, 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 boo." That's what I used to say to my dog Beauregard. "Oh, there you go." He wants to go inside his cage, but he's too stupid to climb down in his own cage. He flies across, and then he flies back in through the open door. So, not logical, but it works for him. Bye. Bye-bye. Are you the little Bobo birdie? Let's have a look at you. Hello, little Bo. Are you the little Bo? Are you my little sweetheart? Are you my little darling? Are you my little crazy little pigeon? He says, I'm a crazy cockatiel, Mama too. I haven't had a pet yet that, see, he flew across. He flew across. Then he goes in the door. See? That's his little tradition that he does. I haven't had a pet yet that wasn't crazy. I wonder what that's about. Well, I take in other people's rescues and, you know, can't be responsible for turning them all crazy. Can I? Nah. Kermie's not crazy though. Oh, Kermie's not crazy. He's perfectly fine. The little one's a bit odd. Yes, little Bo's a bit odd, I know. But leave him alone, he's eating. Right, where were we? By the time of Snorko's murder, Campbell had noticed a sea change in biker attitudes towards drugs as business people started to squeeze out party people. It turned good guys into greedy people. I've seen friendships fall on the wayside. This is a bloody long chapter, people there. I'm thirsty and I want my banana bread. How many more pages? Let's have a look. Oh, we're nearly there. Huh. Guess what the next chapter, chapter 20, is called? Bye. Well, there you go. Synchronicity. Through all his hard riding and partying, Campbell continued to be followed by the unresolved matter of Port Hope. He couldn't get it off his mind that Gary Camo and Rick Sauvé were both still serving life terms for a crime he had committed. Yeah, that's just not right. It really isn't. Campbell needed the legal establishment to believe that he was the real shooter. In 1988, he talked about his crime to a University of Ottawa law school class that studied miscarriages of justice and wrongful convictions. It was their first and last lecture by a chapter president of the Satan's Choice. After the class, Campbell rode his Harley down to Port Hope with a female law student on the back. It was his first trip to the Queen since the shooting, and he was still on parole. Nobody recognised me. I introduced myself under a different name. A guy walked over and asked me if I wanted to play pool. 2 or 3 guys who were there in 78, the night of the shooting, were there. I recognised them. They didn't recognise me. I played as bad as usual. A pool player, I'm not. By the time he turned 40 in 1988, the clean... What's going on? I'm hearing a bit of agitation going on here. What's going on, my boys? Little Bo's not happy about you being right next to his face. Are you being kind to each other? Because you're flatmates whether you like it or not. You're brothers whether you like it or not. He says, ain't no cockatiel gonna be my brother. Wow, you can feel that way till the day you die, bird, but it's the fact of the matter. Yes, Kermie. Yes, Kermie. Little Bo's giving him evils, and it's quite interesting actually. Silent standoff. Well, you know, I'll just keep an eye on them. That's very aggressive muttering coming from someone. Who's doing the aggressive muttering? Is that you, little boy? Grinding your beak ready to kill him, are ya? It's been sharpening it for 3 months. Come on, boys. Life's too short to live in aggression. Don't sweat the small stuff. Right, we'll carry on. By the time he turned 40 in 1988, the clean eating and spirituality that had been inspired by Sauvé were but a memory, as was the fitness derived from workouts with Gendon and long jogs around the prison yard. In their place were junk food, cocaine, and whiskey. There hadn't been parties for his 10th or 20th or 30th birthdays, but his 40th was different. His September 2nd birthday coincided with the Labour Day weekend that year, and the two events collided to make a monster event at a big dance hall in cottage country north of Huntsville. I had just done a big line of cocaine. We had a good band. Somebody said, "Go sing, Lorne." My fingers weren't working when I was playing one of their guitars. It was probably House of the Rising Sun. I love that song. There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy, and God, I know I was one. Anyway, words to that effect. I think I got the words right. It's a melody I struggled with. 'Tis what it is. That's why I'll never be a singer or a supermodel. Somehow I've got my own quiet charm. Don't know what that is either, but never mind. It's just the storm talking. His playing and singing that night weren't his best, and when he left the stage, a friend advised, "Lorne, don't quit your day job." In 1989, he was riding his Harley down the QEW to St. Catherine's to see and hold Gemily, his first grandchild, who had been born on August 6th, when he felt something wrong in his chest. It didn't ease up when he tried the deep breathing exercises he'd learned in prison. Campbell eased his bike through the heavy traffic, but couldn't have been going more than 15 miles an hour towards the right lane. It wasn't a sharp pain, but it was a serious, crushing one, and it wouldn't go away. It's like 1,000 pounds on your chest. I was just in so much pain. I have my eyes wide open and I still couldn't see anything. He rode on to St. Catherine's, where he described the experience to his daughter. "You just had a heart attack," Janice said. She was right, although a stress test showed there was no heart damage. Campbell resolved to cut out the drugs and stay away from junk food. Yeah, that storm's rolling back in again. The temptations of freedom were threatening to cut short his life. I was partying, letting myself go. It didn't take long. By the end of the 1980s, newspapers were often branding outlaw motorcycle clubs as organised crime syndicates, second in power only to the Italian mafia. The dire warnings in the press about the threat posed by outlaw bikers were never shriller than when police were trying to pump up their funding at budget time. It's pretty much the same here in Australia, isn't it? It's all a fucking scam. The whole fucking thing. From top to bottom, the fish rots from the head down. Such reports often grossly overestimated the level of planning in outlaw biker camps. While biker criminality was a constant, the amount of thought involved was often darkly comical. One needed look no further than Campbell's Oshawa chapter of The Choice for proof. At the end of summer 1989, Campbell's friend Stan was looking for a place to hide an M1 carbine near the clubhouse when he had a brainwave that struck him as both simple and effective. He tucked the assault rifle into the branches of a tree in the clubhouse backyard. All was well for the last few weeks of the summer, between the leaves started falling. But then the leaves started falling. Meanwhile, the stashed rifle had faded to the back of Stan's mind. In October, police raided the Choice Clubhouse, and Stan found himself charged with possession of an illegal firearm, the M1 carbine. How the fuck did he find that? Stan asked, genuinely baffled. He just looked up, Campbell told him. This is the result when you do too many drugs, people are there. You get what I call drug fucked, which is stupid as it stupid does. Can't think clearly anymore. You're too adult and you lose some IQ points. You never get them back either after you do a certain amount of drugs, and drugs are bad, people. I don't approve of drugs. I mean, yes, I've dabbled in my day because I thought it might help my complex PTSD, with cannabis and that half a hash brownie I had once. That's all I've dabbled in. I've got no interest in anything else. The fusing with the couch, and another time after I had a colonoscopy and my friend Julie gave me some cannabis. That was dumb and dumber, but I did it. Mixed with my colonoscopy medications. I was merging with the wall. The wall and I felt like the fucking Philadelphia experiment. I was skitzing at one point, thinking I might not be able to pull myself out of the wall and that we'd be merged forever. But it was just an almighty fucking trip, courtesy of what was still swishing around from the colonoscopy medications, which I'm told is mostly Valium, actually. Found that out later. And I don't know, because they only put you in a twilight state. Anyway, that and cannabis. Don't do it, people, unless you want to merge all your atoms with an inanimate object. It's a unique experience, which I am proud to say I made sure I never repeated. And drugs are bad. Drugs are very bad. But you know what? That merging with the wall, Julie telling me I was a fucking idiot, which I was, so it was comical. I think that did heal a lot of my complex PTSD. It was after I'd come off my psych meds too. 2000. When did we fall out? It was over something stupid when COVID came out. Must have been 2020. So yeah, that must have happened around about 2017, 2018. After one of my colonoscopies. Oh no, I'll tell you when it happened. I'd bought a beautiful Pomeranian puppy. It was 2015, October. I'd bought a beautiful Pomeranian puppy from the psycho bitch breeder. I'm positive, can't prove it of course, otherwise I would have taken the bitch to court. But I'm positive she doped that puppy. Took it home, it was perfectly healthy. Within a day or two, it was nearly fucking dying. Anyway, she took it back off me, and then slagged me off on Facebook that I was a bad dog owner, and I'd tried to kill a dog and all this bullshit. That dog she doped it, I'm positive. Anyway, she'd given me my money back, but it wasn't the point, I was in love with the puppy already. Sold me a sick fucking dog, and then slagged me off. And then in that same week that went down, I'd had the colonoscopy. I was very ill, and then I was crying and grief-stricken over, losing that beautiful little puppy that I was madly in love with. Its name was Alcide. Crying, and then Julie said, "Come over here. Sit with me, I'll keep an eye," because she knew it was a mess, an absolute mess. She hands me a spliff and I smoked it, and then I skitzed like I hadn't skitzed in years. The last time I had a bad trip on cannabis was when I was with Courtney, and funny enough, same month too, October 2004. No, 2005 we got together. 2005 October. And at that stage I'd never had cannabis. I'd had it once before. Yeah, that's right, once before. So I didn't know how it could affect me badly. Oh, that was a bad night that night. I thought I was going to die. Anyway, but that other event was after losing our seed, and still literally from the day before colonoscopy, meds swishing through my bloodstream. And then I smoked that bit of wacky tobacco, and by the gods, I was watching trees breathe. That was a unique experience. They were in the distance and I could see them radiating energy. It was a full-on stoner trip, probably like, because I've never done harder drugs, you understand? Like, I've never done LSD, I've never done shrooms, I've never done cocaine, I've never done anything else. But I thought this must be what it feels like when you're tripping on LSD or psilocybin. Watching the trees radiating energy and breathing. Even now, if you lie under a tree, and you're stone cold sober, of course, but if you lie there and you tune into the tree, you can actually sense it breathing. It's a beautiful experience when you're sober doing that. But anyway, I was watching these trees breathing, these 3 trees, and I was starting to lose it. I was like starting to get paranoid and skits, you know. And the trees talked me down. You'll be all right, Tanya. Just slowly breathe in, slowly breathe out. Count 5 seconds between breathing in and breathing out. Just see what I mean about how I'll have an energy that will come and protect me when I'm out of my fucking mind. In that case, legit out of my mind because of substances. Something always protects me, and in that instance it was the trees. I was thinking about jumping off her balcony. It's only 1 story up, but I was at one point thinking about jumping off like a fucking idiot. And then Julie would walk in and go, just look at me. She was as high as a kite too. She wasn't on colonoscopy drugs though. She was just on the normal. She had much larger doses than me because she, you know, full-blown addict. Anyway, she's like, you fucking idiot. You fucking idiot. Anyway, she got a visitor from someone from downstairs came up. They just looked at me funny. And they looked at her. What's with her? She's just a fucking idiot. They came and looked at me and I went, she's right, you know. I am. I'm a fucking idiot. What do you mean? I went, I'm fused with the wall and I can't get off the wall. I might have to stay here forever. And then that woman who was sober looks at Julie and starts freaking the fuck out. She goes, oh no, that's just Tanya. She's like that. She's got a great imagination. She's a writer and an artist and she's just a fucking idiot. And this woman's like, should I call someone? Like, is there anything I can do? Julie's like, nah, she'll come good in about another hour, which I did, of course. Came down. I come down off it. What the fuck was that, Julie? I said it was suicide. I was thinking about jumping off the balcony. Jesus, she said, you didn't tell me that. I said, no, I wasn't stupid enough to tell you that. I said, you would have had to call someone. She said, why didn't you jump, you fucking idiot? I said, the trees told me not to and helped me breathe through it. And, I mean, I laugh about it now, but it wasn't funny at the time. I was that distressed over that puppy and that evil bitch. Someone should fucking get that evil fucking dog breeding piece of shit turd too. Oh, she was vicious. Anyway, that was then. This is now. That was 2015. So, I didn't get high like that ever again. Went off all my psych meds 2016. And I've been straight as a die ever since, except for, you know, my 2 or 3 or 4, 5 maximum Jack Daniels when I'm out dancing. I cut that right back down to 2 because it wasn't agreeing with me, you know. I just wasn't feeling good. What's the point in drinking if you're not enjoying it, you know? So 2 drinks a night when I'm dancing, alcoholic drinks. I'll have non-alcoholic, you know, the rest of the night. 2 drinks, dance wildly, have a really lovely time. Still sober, still lucid, still clean and clear. It's the only way to live your life, people of Earth. I highly recommend it. Clean and clear. I mean, I was never a full-on addicted drug taker. I only did it very rarely, but what's the point if you're not enjoying it, you're not getting anything out of it? It's pointless. It's like when my daughter came back and she said, Mummy, I did shrooms and all I did was shit. I hear you, my love. We're like that in our family. Even medications don't work on me. My urologist tried every drug she could try on me for my bladder. This is the gold standard medication, Tanya. It's the best of the best. I went, doesn't work, doctor. Sorry, doesn't work on me. And nothing works. I'm still avoiding the Botox treatment, to be honest. Anyway, I'm not doing too badly. I got through this bad virus without medications. And I just had my mullein tea in the beginning, and that didn't really work this time. It's unusual, but it was rough. And I had a bit of lime tea, lime and hot water with cardamom a few days ago, and I don't know whether it's my imagination because I just had cardamom and honey and slices of lime, but that seemed to soothe me a bit, and I turned the corner after that. Whether it's just a coincidence or whether it was beneficial, I don't know. Figure it can't hurt, bit of lime water and honey and cardamom. Anyway, the mama tea has weathered another nasty bug or virus or whatever was unleashed on us this time at winter time. You just don't know if it's natural or bioengineered unleashed on us, do you? That's the scary thing. You just don't know what's going on anymore. Don't trust any of it. Trust none of it, people of Earth. But anywho, I'm off to have some very healthy, beautiful, clean and clear banana bread. I put pumpkin seeds in it because I don't have any walnuts. So it'll probably taste a bit pumpkin-y, but I don't mind. And it'll be a bit crunchy as well. And I'm looking forward to that. And that's my afternoon tea. So on that note, after telling you all about my most primal and risk-taking colonoscopy and cannabis behaviours that happened only once, but it only needed to happen once to give me enough of a fright to remind me drugs are bad, okay? And, carry on living my best life and living happily ever after in freedom. I wonder what the next chapter, Bo, is about. Let's see how long a chapter it was, because this one was quite a long chapter. That's only a few pages. Next one's only a few pages too. It's weird. I have like a really long chapter and then I have 3 short ones. It's odd. Anyway, however it works. Have a beautiful day in the space-time continuum. Stay safe, stay happy, stay wild, stay free. Stay in love with the ones who love you back, honouringly and courteously and respectfully and beautifully, and enjoy the beautiful day. And if you're in Brisbane, enjoy the potential storm we're allegedly getting. Keeps drifting in and drifting out like my mind, like the windmills of my mind. Okay, bye for now.